Greetings, everyone. Troy Bernier. This is the Miami International Science Fiction Film Festival. And today we have Mr. JAROSLAW GOGOLIN. He comes to us from Poland, currently residing in the United Kingdom. And he's made the feature film called Lost Dolls. Lost Dolls. And it's exactly the way it sounds. So if you're familiar with that famous YouTube franchise called Come Play With Me, you're going to know where I'm coming from. JAROSLAW, greetings.
Greetings. Thank you very much.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us. You're here from London. How's it going in London?
I'm not, finally it's warm now, but
It's finally warming up. Okay. You have some sunlight?
Yeah. Most of
Okay, good. Well, thanks so much for coming. We really appreciate you taking the time of your busy schedule and joining us. And
honor is mine.
We want to know a little bit more about you and Lost Dolls and all the good that's in it. So let's start off by give us a little breakdown of whereabouts you're coming from, where in Poland, and how did you get into making Lost Dolls?
Well, I've been living in London for 17 years now, so quite a long.
Yeah.
But in film making, I'm since 2014, end of 2014, so not that long comparing with what I've been here. So that was my start, 2014. And through many short films, I came to, that the last one, which is The Lost Dolls, which is feature length, quite long one, actually.
Oh, yeah. It might be the longest we've had in a while.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether to be proud of, but, it is what it is.
Yeah. When it comes to art, you don't really set boundaries on your art. Yeah. The only time you do is, there are two reasons that you set boundaries on your art. The first reason is, well, if you want this to be exhibited here, you need to. That's the first reason. The second reason is, you're targeting a specific audience, and so you create boundaries based on that. Those are the only two major reasons you create boundaries on your art.
Yeah. So that's the Lost Dolls came to life now.
How long did it take to produce the film?
It was with a little break because the preparation. I'm not talking about preparation, but the shooting itself. We started like late autumn. Then we had to stop because it's like external. The day was short and all the shooting were, external.
Sure, yes, outdoor. These are outdoor shoots, right?
Yeah, so it was too cold to shoot and the day was short. So we had to wait until the spring to come to shoot the rest, like, let's say. Wow. So the shooting took some place with a break. And then editing process was quite long.
Yeah.
So, because it was like a lot of footage to come through, right, to choose the, what I need to tell the story. And then, it took, I think, 2.5 years altogether.
Wow. That's amazing. 2.5 years?
Yeah.
Folks, you got to see what goes into making this. If I can share my some slides here with folks, just to give you an idea. Camera work, you got a little jib there. It looks like some extra lighting, right?
Yeah.
You have the doll there, and this is who's controlling the doll. Someone's controlling the camera. Somebody else is controlling the doll.
Yeah, depending on the shot. Because they were like, you see this from outside, but the lens actually see probably just doll's face or its mid shot for her. So yeah, it's easy to come around and to move the dolls a little bit. So
Sure. Is that a dolly that's on a track?
yes,
Oh,
and we had like straight and carve, because it turned out that the carve one was quite useful, and
yeah, I bet.
yeah, it gave a lot of like movement and
That's how
possibility.
you move the dolls?
Yeah, because like, well, my idea was like, it's either the doll moves and camera is still, or the doll is still and camera moves, like the opposite.
You
So
cannot tell.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's
and
that's
and that was amazing experience for us as well, because what I noticed, even with the carved doll, um,
mhm,
when the camera moves, from, let's say, from forward face to the back head,
mhm,
it tells completely different when you move the other way around, like from the back head to the
mhm,
front. So
mhm.
that was like different experience of the emotions you could tell. So yeah, it was like quite interesting experience to to discover something, because it was like uh, I'm not sure whether you saw the whole film, but it was the um quite quite unusual way of telling the story or animation.
Mhm,
It's not stop,
mhm.
because like the most common question I had was, well, you making with dolls, a film with dolls, is it a stop motion animation? And
That's
they said,
right, yeah.
yeah, it's not quite. It's like sort of, I'm not saying like I invented something, because in some films you could see this sort of um, trick,
Sure,
let's say, in
right,
storytelling.
right.
Yeah, but yeah,
Can
and
you
yeah, it
can
was quite
you
an experience. And was that, yeah, the other thing is that was the smallest crew. Probably we broke the Guinness record, because we the whole film we made in two persons. The cinematographer and me.
That's it. Yeah. Wow. Well, can you explain a little bit about the setup here? This setup is pretty neat.
Yeah.
What is this device called, and where did you get it from?
Well, we get this from India, but we bought this like from eBay, so
Hmm.
like you can find it online and buy it. And there is like company who actually specializing in this sort of. You can get like you can move this by hand,
That's
or
right.
you've got like motor wise.
Yeah, a little motor on there, and
Yeah,
and it runs with power, and
yeah,
it just
yeah.
moves it
So you
nice
could
and
like use.
slow. You can adjust the pace
Yeah,
with a potentiometer. Yeah, I have one that's straight. It
yeah.
runs straight. I have one. But that's pretty neat.
And we knew that we need the carve one, because the it's like we had to uh, do something to make like looks alive the
Hmm.
dolls,
Hmm.
or at least the scene should be alive. So the movement of the carve movement gives you a lot of opportunities to do this, like
Yeah,
if you move like even 118 degrees, it's like the whole story. The doll doesn't have to move. There is a movement in the scene.
that's right.
So yeah, so it
Yeah,
was
and you're dealing with real practical. It's all practical effects. Everything is real there. So the dimensions, all everything that's in the field of view just comes alive when it starts
yeah,
to move.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And so the main thing was like either the doll moves and the camera is still, or the camera is still and the dolls move. So
Yeah,
we used all the techniques. Plus, there is also, and that I saw in actually in other movies, POV. A
right,
lot of shots is like POV, and right, shot reverse shot.
right,
So
right, right. How did you come up with the story?
I mean, sometime before we when we were shooting in the forest, And I was wondering, well, would it be possible, to make a story, from like puppet, teddy bear or whatever, creature, and just to tell the story. And we actually tried to film, and it was like quite promising. And since then, like that little seed was growing and growing, so the story was also growing. Once I had the whole story in my head, then there was no other option like start to shooting, preparation and shooting. I mean, at the beginning I was thinking about, like teddy bears or something like that. But once I saw the porcelain dolls, that was no other options, because just the faces itself can tell some story, and they are so perfectly made that you need just a little movement, to tell the story.
Body language.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that if there's a part two, I can assure you there will still be attraction if you add, stuffed animals to it. In addition, giving it a more even more multi-dimensional cast, because you have a lot of cast members in this.
Yeah,
there are a lot of characters.
Yes, there are. That was the other thing, like not to give. You need to like catch the attention of the audience at the beginning. So just following one character wouldn't be enough. Right. So I developed, like there were quite a few characters which the stories actually, somehow, connected. But
yes.
Yeah, but there was like, they met, in some stage, but they had independent lives, let's say, sort of. And also, I mean, originally the story also had actors. In my let's say, first draft of the script, there were actors, like human actors. So there was like mixture of those, obviously doing the same like they are doing in this film, but also there were actors, and they were supposed connected to the dolls. But that shifted, during the process, and now I can understand why. Because like for me, it's like it's pure, sort of purer.
That's right.
So it's just focusing on the dolls in themselves. So, yeah.
We have the trailer. Can we play the trailer?
Yeah, sure.
One second. Man, I can say this: the mixture of the score you have, right? It's not really, it's a soundtrack, but it's a score, because the music drives the film. And to me, that brings a level of calmness. It's a very calming to view the film. You can sit back and you're immersed into it. I think that was quite nice, the way you focused on the very small details in the film, like when the character would look at, like this, for the folks here, it looks at the spider, but there are many instances where it's looking at these things in the forest, and to it they're very large to this tiny character versus if it was a person. So that differences of perspective, and with the musical score, gives it a cinematic theme, that brings the world even more to life and focused and interesting. It really does. It's catchy to me.
Yeah, I mean, I do realize that film is not action film,
Right.
and it's film, as you said, for somebody like allowing oneself to sit and just, well, no, I'm not saying enjoying, but just allow yourself to be like taken to some kind of journey,
Yes.
and because you need to have a patience with this film. I'm afraid, not for like no film is for everybody, but
Right.
yeah, this is like for specific probably audience, and so but probably from age, let's say 8 to 80, I guess. It's depending more about like mental state than
Right.
age itself.
Right. Right. Right.
Especially that there are clowns and spiders, so some people, even adults, might be not very
They might be scared. Yeah,
yes.
because there are some scenes which have a dark message.
So
Dark character. They do evil things, and beware of that character. Don't get too close to that character. So it does have that element that could frighten a child, perhaps.
yeah,
So it's not for children. It's not for babies. It's not for babies.
yeah.
Young people, yes, but not for babies.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, which I was hoping to have that scene. There's a scene in the film when it appears that they're on a beach. Was it a beach, or were you sitting on a Thames River somewhere?
No, I mean, like, not sure which scene you refer to, but
They were playing chess or checkers.
oh yeah, yeah, that was the beach, and because like half of the film, or maybe a bit more than half, we shot in the forest,
Yes.
and like 30% we shot on the beach in Scotland.
That was Scotland?
Scotland, yeah.
Wow, you
Not
traveled.
far from Dundee. I mean, my cinematographer Magda, she lives in Scotland,
What
and
city? What city in Scotland?
like near Dundee.
Dundee.
It's like near Edinburgh,
Okay. Okay.
so that's quite far north, and
Yeah.
they've got lovely beaches there. I mean, like the scenery is beautiful there.
Yes.
And
Cold, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So
Wow.
that was like perfect, scenery for it, especially because we had also seen with burning, like Furno
Yes.
fire,
Yes.
and so I knew that I cannot set fire in the in the forest,
Right.
not in the UK. So we all right, that is perfect scene for the over there. And obviously that was like they were going through the sort of portal thing,
Hmm.
so the scenery should be dramatically different, like forest and then sea and the beach, so that was,
Yeah. So let me also ask you, can you talk about how do you think, or how do you wish the viewers to take this film when they see it? What message or theme are you sending to them?
I mean that's
It's kind of in the log line.
yeah, it is, but not everybody can catch it, so like whatever you takes from the film, take it, it's yours, because like depending on the person, somebody who is very connected to the nature and the forest itself will see the film completely different,
Yeah.
and somebody else won't notice that element of the forest and living forest and like intelligent forest.
Right.
So it depends on the audience, and I think it's like with every film and like with every book, you read or you see the film through your own perspective.
That's
So
correct.
whatever your experience was and what you think, what you feel, you will see different film than your neighbor
That's right.
watching the same film.
Yes.
So it's that, and so yes, there is an element of the, let's say, embracing the forest and itself. I mean, like the other day I was hearing some news that in Japan, some of the doctors prescribes to their patients, to go to the forest. That's
Yep.
prescription, to go
Yep.
there, to chill out, to embrace the nature, to disconnect from your troubles and everything. And you'll be like without the medicines, like with drugs.
Did you listen to the show last night with Japan?
I was watching it.
Okay, yeah, because that's Hakinoa.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's their that's a small garden that's used for mental therapy, some type of therapy. That
I
they
haven't seen the film, but I watched the
the talk, the
conversation
interview,
talk. Yeah,
the interview last night. Yeah,
it was like beautiful cinematography. Anyway,
yeah,
through the scenes I saw during that conversation.
yeah. You're not you don't give these images justice. I have to, if I may, um, your trailer. Hold on a second.
And what is interesting, I mean, I had a casting seriously, and with a so when I started, I knew what type of faces I'm looking for,
Hmm.
like because every doll express different character. If you like watch it carefully, you can like guess what sort of character she might be, and that was another experience, another discovery. And so I before shooting, I posted a few pictures of dolls on my Facebook page and asked my friends, like, I'm looking for one who is like introvert but courageous.
Uh-huh.
She's, she's like a bit hermit mode, and I gave quite a few characteristics and asked them which of them you think it might be.
Right.
And then, like, I was surprised with people responses just seeing still photos of the dolls. So yeah.
I'm going to share this with you. This is the it sticks in my mind. That's how you know a movie is interesting, because you constantly have an image of the film in your mind. And this one here, let's see if it shows up. Oh, who's that guy?
That's me.
This one.
Yeah.
It sticks in my mind, the scene. And I'm not going to tell people what part of the film it is, but
Yeah.
to me, there were several scenes on the beach, but I didn't, that's why I asked where this was, because these rocks are very interesting, and the beach is way out there, and it looks cold. It doesn't look warm at all. That's cold water, folks. That's
I,
cold water.
I know. I mean, like many people will notice that scene inspiration was from one of my very like films I like. Is like the Seventh Seal,
Yes.
Bergman's one. And for example, you see the doll on the left, and actually she was. I mean, one was made, just for the film. Many dolls I've got from the artists who actually change them, like they buy like
Right.
second-hand dolls, and then
Right.
actually, they are artists, so they made something different, paint them,
Right.
dress them, and it's like Gothic style, let's say. But this artist, actually, I asked her, look, I need a doll which looks like the guy from the Seven Seal. Yeah,
This is the scene.
yeah,
I
and
remember this, man. Oh man,
yeah,
it's
and
good. It's
she
a lot.
made the
It's good.
doll, under the cloth of the doll is made by hand by her.
Yes, yes.
So everything is made, and the head, everything, so she painted, actually. So that guy was like, well, is one of the main characters in the story.
Mhm.
So yeah, a bit lonely.
When I saw it, I said, "Man, I know where this guy's going. I know where this is going."
Yeah.
Good work. Good work. So how has the film performed with in the festival world? What's happening? Tell us what's going on. How many
I'm
submissions? How many
almost
submissions?
halfway through.
Hmm. Okay.
So it's like, well, there were a few selections, a few awards, but not that I would like. Oh, I was hoping for like better results. I can
Mm.
understand that like for animation, it's like not, let's say, orthodox, because it's like different way of telling story. Like it's not stop animation, it's not puppeteers.
Right.
It's like somebody needs to accept. So yeah, it's like different. Uh, uh, this film actually won the best animation feature in Jaipur Film Festival in India.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it was like that was. I won also. I mean, like I was expecting this because like the sound and music was quite well accepted by many.
Yes.
So, for example, Edinburgh International Film Festival, I won
Hmm.
for in one category. It was sound design,
See.
uh, and there was another. I think don't remember the name. It's connected to the LA Web Film Festival,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that was for the music. One, I
Yeah.
mean, it was selected for in a couple of categories and one in the music.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it's not the film. Well, phone has got very good sound now, but it's better to see on the as big screen as possible plus good sound,
Sure.
because music is
Sure.
a important part of the film for sure.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Without that, it comes down a notch big. It comes down a letter grade. It's good story, good framing, right? Good framing. It's not good cinematography, good framing, because you've got to communicate it. And then the audio, right? Got to be able to. It has to be legible. I have to be able to comprehend what's being said. And then the score. If you don't have a soundtrack, you you spend more time and make a score.
Yeah,
Because that really is a big difference for a film. If it has a good score, then the film actually gets a letter grade bump. Because it keeps people engaged, and that's very very important, and especially in a movie like this, which is 2.5. How long is this?
yeah.
How many hours? It's 2.5 hours.
226. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, and also, like probably many people don't realize that there is no dialogue, there is no
That's right.
narration,
That's right.
there is
No dialogue,
no
no narration.
subtitles, nothing. So all the story had to be shown like visually plus the music, and that's the bringing emotions.
Yes.
Without the music, you couldn't understand actually the film and feel it probably.
Yes. 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 So that's you know it speaks volumes when, first of all, you have a movie that's over 2 hours long. few festivals will accept a movie over 2 hours long, just on general principle.
Yeah.
Okay, so the mere fact that you have about how many festivals so far in number have been selected?
I mean, the like selection and winnings is around 10 probably, but
Not
I
bad.
sent too many
Okay,
more. Yeah.
no, that's understandable.
And
But the
and
fact,
let's be honest, like there are like hundreds and thousands of people sent to festivals, so it's like a very limited time and awards. So
it like I said, it speaks volumes that it's getting into festivals and it's over 2 hours long. That by itself is an achievement. It speaks about the quality of the film. The fact that you have no narration, no voices, but it's still getting accepted and it's 2.5 hours long. That speaks volumes by itself. Okay. Okay. Most films, one of the main reasons why a lot of films don't get in that are 2 hours long is because most film slots are 2 hours because the average person can't sit in the theater for more than 2 hours
yeah.
before they start complaining. So they try to fit either an hour, this is typically an hour, 45 minutes worth of shorts or feature in a short
Sure.
or two, right? Fits into that hour, 45 minutes, which gives 15 minutes for Q&A,
Yeah.
right? That's typically the math for how you do, because you're not doing just one, it's not just one showing. You've got 8 showings per screen a day,
Yeah.
eight film blocks. So that's how the math has to work, and they want to put as many films as possible in there to make it happen. So,
Yeah.
so I commend you for that. That's good. Next question. So, looking forward, are there any other genres, roles, or type of projects that you're particularly eager to explore? What's next for you?
I mean, like I also write screenplays, yeah, and so I produce my own films and write. I'm doing this, like part time because like I've got different job. I'm not full time filmmaker actually. I haven't earned any money in the film industry anyway.
Mhm.
But my main interest is like supernatural thrillers
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
And but fantasy supernatural thrillers includes also like sci-fi.
Right.
Because it's like for me it's like there's not a huge difference between good sci-fi film and a good fantasy film. It's
Right.
like replace swords with the laser guns. It's like this sort of thing. So mine, I wrote those screenplays hoping like maybe in the future I will be able to, because I consider myself as a writer director,
Yes.
not writer. So
Yes.
it's like a bit different species. Hoping
Yes.
to direct what I wrote.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is like I've got 10 screenplays so far, feature length, and then also because I know that takes time, you need to like convince somebody, like to
Sure.
find money for the films because those are like beyond my reach, like
Sure.
financially.
Sure.
So the next thing I could actually make myself is like sort of thriller with involves voodoo dolls
Mm-hmm.
and humans. So it's like thriller slash horror sort of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I just
Yeah.
estimated that was gonna cost me around £20,000
Okay.
to do it, but
Okay.
I can do it. The same
Yeah.
like with the dolls.
Yeah.
Like the idea was one, and then I asked myself whether I am able to finance this, because that's is like you need to pay the cinematographer, and when you've got bigger crew you need to like feed the whole crew for the whole time of the shooting. So it's like the finances, like you need to consider that before
Yeah.
jumping into the project. So yeah, I mean, like there's a project I can do myself, and there are projects which I'm hoping to find producers,
Yes.
executive producers.
Yes. Have you submitted to MiSciFi before?
And no, this is the first time.
Okay.
And I never submitted, like, because that was like last minute submitting, because like I finished this film in October. So like then I started to search for the the film festivals, and this
Yeah.
like schedule was quite short. But probably like next year I've got a couple of sci-fi screenplays. So even if I don't make a film till next January, I might send the screenplay.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because we have a screenplay competition. It's man, everything we have is so competitive now. As we go forward, you asked previously, is the festival getting bigger? Well, one thing that is getting bigger is the diversity of our submissions. We get submissions from many different parts of the world. Very early on, the bulk of everything came from the United States, England, or Australia. That was 75% of all the submissions. A lot and a lot of films. Today, we get still half from the United States, but an overwhelming distribution of films from other parts of the world. Overwhelming. So we have maybe 30 countries. I think I said 34, like 30 different countries. So 20 countries are sending us many films. Places that you would not expect science fiction to be coming out of are sending us films. That's what's going on right now. So the world is changing, or has changed already in many ways that you would not expect films like this to come from. And they're winning. And they're winning. The quality is very good, and they're winning. I highlight this particular one out of Kazakhstan, and very good actors, really good story, really good acting. And this is what happens every year. Something different happens every year, and this year was a big surprise, big surprise. So anyway, on to the next one. So can you talk a little bit about how do you view the evolution of film and storytelling with the new technologies and platforms that are available? Do you think it enhances opportunities for actors and filmmakers? So just imagine the technology that you have, that you shot your feature with. 5 years ago, that tech, maybe 5-10 years ago, that tech may not have been available.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, like for independent filmmakers, it's amazing the quality you can make. Now the film. I mean, there's much less limitation on the technical side.
That's right.
So it's like just your pure imagination, and like you can be very creative, because like it's not that long. Like let's say 15-20 years ago, the DSLRs, they were not so good, in making films. Quality was very poor. Even the phones were, completely different.
Yeah, that's right. They were.
Yeah, and now you've got the equipment, and it's like probably like 20 years ago, professional filmmakers would dream of, the quality of the image you can perform. So it's only now the imagination of your telling the story.
That's right. That's right. And I can tell you right now, we have some films that are made with phone, entirely with the iPhone.
Yeah, and it's
entirely
beautiful. I mean, in post, you quite often you need to like make some gradient or something to make this looks worse, because it's like so good. I mean, the quality is, like especially for cinema, like the cannot be too crispy, unless it's like dependent on, obviously on the film and genre and everything.
Yeah,
But
you have to run a new blue effects filter
yeah,
on
yeah,
it
yeah, exactly, exactly.
to give it a more of a film
Yeah,
grade,
feel great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because a lot of the content is in 4K, and it's like, guys, look, I know it's great high quality, but the projection system is
yeah,
at 1080.
yeah,
And it's being projected on a giant screen. It looks like a film.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
what you have, your 4K is going to look like film,
yeah.
on the projection screen. And
And
these
it's like technology is like improving every day almost. And
yes.
for example, like 20 years ago, you had to go to film school to
Mhm.
get the equipment to start, doing something. Now, like me, I'm not professional. I never was trained or study filmmaking, and like all you need is like your passion and
Yeah, with $10,000 worth of equipment and software, you can make an amazing piece of work.
exactly. And
An amazing
I learned editing, through DaVinci Resolve,
Yes.
which they're actually giving, the software,
Yes, that's right.
like 95 of the
That's right.
capability is free. Like you just you can use it. And the second, I mean, like with the other interviews I was watching in your film festivals, there was one guy from Germany,
Hmm.
and he used one of the software, and the other was from Argentina,
Hmm.
the special effect guy.
Yeah, that's Caesar Tuturo,
Yeah.
and Deutschland was Alexander Offerman.
So they're using like the Argentinian one. He was using the Unreal Engine
Yes.
software, and they
Yep.
like recreated whole story in this
Yep.
platform. And we used a couple of special effects, let's say scenes in our film, the same using the same platform. So it's like uh, now you can make in your home good sci-fi film, or well, fantasy is slightly different because at least you need to somebody with a sword, but
Right.
still on the green screen or blue screen or whatever,
Right.
and you can use the equipment. And the same, I mean, you can make complete animation film in those platforms. So it's only your imagination. Obviously you need to learn how to use the tools,
Right.
but gives you so much freedom. So yeah, that's the now it's not the problem to make a good film. It's this distribution side is much worse, because there are
Yeah.
more and more films which are good.
Yeah. And the thing with distribution, is that a lot of the distributors, what they're doing is they're getting films, people are giving them their films, they're selling them their films, and they're holding the films for 10 years. And I personally see that as a problem because in 10 years, there's no way for you to know what the world is going to be like in 10
Yeah.
years. There's no way for you to know what other opportunities may come your way with your film. So, in the last interview, you may have watched it. It was Harlem Fragments with this guy, Cameron Tyler. And Cameron, we talked a lot about this guy named Spike Lee, who's a popular filmmaker out of New York City. And I'll never forget his interview where he talks about how, because he's one of the early independent filmmakers, really early successful independent filmmaker. Used his own money, used credit cards to make his film, and overall was successful in doing this. And but he gave a discussion on the value of distributing one's film, what's involved, what the rights and so forth. And he says, yeah, you could sell your film, but are you going to sell your film to one guy or to 10? And he explains how, you could sell your film in North America and you're only going to get 80% value of your film. But do understand there are a dozen other markets to sell your film in. So in those other dozen markets that you're selling your film in, now you're getting back a multiple of what you made for your film. But you have to know how to do it, and you got to take the risk, which I'm sure he went to Cannes early on when he did his films, and yeah, he was able to pull this off. And I can't say the world is like that today 100% the same way he did it, but I do know that there's more than one market, and I do know that over time these markets are shifting. Look how just in the past few years the streaming world has changed. It's changed dramatically. Where at one point you had to pay to go in and look at a film, and then that's it. Now, today, you just sit and watch. You just pay one price, the same price you paid for one film. Now you pay that same price, and you can watch all the films. But you got to sit through. If you're going to watch all day long, you got to watch 2 hours worth of commercials. To watch all of these films. Okay, so the model has changed dramatically, and in my opinion, it's going to continue to change. I think ultimately we're going to end up the way we had it previously, whereas you're just going to sit there and watch TV and watch commercials. So if you watch an hour's worth of television, you watch 15 minutes worth of commercials. That's the way I think it's going to be. And if you're not careful, you may end up watching more than 15 minutes worth of commercials, unless you pay to not watch those commercials, right? And that's the big battle right now. Who's going to be successful doing that? Who's going to be advertising that? So there's an ad war going on. So 10 years, I think is kind of crazy. 3, 4 years, 5 years, I think is more reasonable. And once that's done, you find somebody else that you want to that'll take the film, because they are going to market the film differently than these people will, because markets are changing constantly. So and then after that's done, now you've got 5 years, 8 years behind you. The film still has value. How do we know? We have movies that are 20, 30, 40, 50 years old that are still out there, that are still being played and still making money. Same films, 20, 30 years old film. TV shows, 20, 30-year-old TV shows, yep, still making money. Content is king, and content will always be king. So I just think it's a little not forward enough thinking. It's a desperation goes the wrong way for a 10-year distribution deal. And ignoring film festivals. So a lot of the times what happens is, and I'm not taking your fire away because we still have a few more things to discuss, but a lot of things that also happen is when a film comes out, it does 1, 2, maybe 3 festivals, and then the distributor gets it and they pull it out of the festival ring, and then it goes to some distribution. There's a likelihood that a lot of people who would see it in the festival ring, they're still not going to see your film, and they could be the loyal fans that would buy your merchandise.
Yeah.
Right. So you've lost a whole lot in that window. I think it's to the advantage of the distributor to make a deal with some of the festivals, so that it gets added promotion, added resale value, added merchandising. That this distributor who's getting the film could still play a role in that process. Don't throw away the film festival. If you streamline it the most simplest way form, a film festival is a great way to get marketing.
And you building your audience as well. Building is one thing, and then sustaining it, because yes, it's like, even if you are very good, well-known director, you still want to go through festivals because it's your pleasure as well, to show your work, yes, and but somebody else who's gonna, yes, enjoy it.
Absolutely. So anyway, going back to the film here, is it okay if I loop a little scene?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I want to loop a little scene here.
The film was made to show, people. So that's
Okay.
like my main,
Okay. So this is part of the film here. So that's the camera moving along the ground. Is that we're using some sort of steady cam or something?
yes, yes, yes. The cinematographer, she had, her own. And actually, this is a part of the also sort of trailer. And the reason why I made the trailer was because the people were keep asking me, "Is it a stop animation?" When I was, saying, "Oh, yeah, we made a film about porcelain dolls. Is it stop animation?" No. So I decided to make the trailer, like to show them this is what I'm talking. And now it's clear, for people. All right, yeah, I
Yeah.
can understand, how it
As
works.
a response,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, may I ask you a question, actually?
Of course.
When you was a kid, like let's say 8, 10 years old, and when you was alone, how did you play?
How long did I
No,
play?
no, I mean uh, with with what you played with,
Oh,
like
what did I play with?
yeah.
There was a lot of Lego.
Hmm.
A lot of Lego. I grew up with a lot of Lego. You know what Lego is, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. I grew up with a lot. When I say a lot of Lego, I had a lot of Lego. And what happened is, um, my grandmother babysit a lot of other people's children. So quite frequently, I would have um, other kids come over because they were being babysit, and I always had someone to play with. And I had I remember I had this large cardboard box, like a box that was used for shipping, but I used the box to store all of my Lego. I had thousands upon thousands of pieces of Lego, and we would pour it out and we would build things with it, build spaceships, build castles, things like that. Did a lot of that. But I also played with a lot of Hasbro toys, like Star Wars characters, action figures, stuff like that. X-wings, spaceships, things. A lot of that. A lot of that.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking is like because it's like that, that period of life, it was like so creative. I mean,
Yeah,
the kids are creative. I mean, like, we can learn from them, how to,
we do.
get, because with a simple, stone and, stick, you can create whole world for yourself and you play in this world and
Yes.
you're enjoying it. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was, hopefully, these days, kids can still, be creative and can,
Yeah. So that creative process, and children from the very earliest of age of having the ability to use their hands are extremely creative because it's a process of learning. And to take it to what you mentioned before, and I'm going to take it beyond that, but the iPhone was developed by small babies, very young people, toddlers. And what I mean by that is the company like Mac, Apple, they would make different versions of their phones, different versions of them, different physical versions, different features different interfaces, and they would give these samples to toddlers, and they would observe these toddlers to see what they touched first or what worked, what didn't work. Okay, and they used that information to design the interface and the hardware.
Hmm.
So that's why it's so easy for us to use a phone, use these things, because they were designed with almost based on how we interact with physical objects, how we're hardwired, how we have evolved into interacting with a physical object, okay? How we interact with it. These were engineered to take advantage of our hardwired abilities to interact.
Yeah, I mean, on the basic, it is like always images. So you know every item is image. Every
It's not just the image, it's where you place the image. It's what the color of the image, the shape of the image, and the placement of the image.
yeah,
Where do
yeah.
you place the image? Right? And there's is science that studies um, how we respond to these signals. These, I call them signals. It's a science. They call it marketing, but it's a science, and it's ad driven. It's revenue driven. There's testing on what ways are work. So if you have the time, you leverage these methods to determine how's best to convey your message to as many people as you can, to your target audience.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a lot. So let me ask you this, because we're coming to a hard time here. Um, what's your favorite science fiction of all time?
Hmm. That's a hard question. Uh,
No, not necessarily.
I need to mention two, because
Yes,
what is interesting, I mean, like the science fiction is like quite broad subject,
of course.
because we've got Terminator, we've got
Yes.
Predator, Alien. There are completely different films. I mean, like subgenres, and we've got Star Wars is different, and we've got X-File, TV series,
Yes.
which is sort of sci-fi. So
Yes.
it's like there in the genre there are so many genres. But coming back to your question, I mean, I would mention two. One is a Blade Runner, uh,
Hmm.
82, 1982, and the second would be the Thing, John Carpenter.
Whoa, we haven't heard that in a long time. Haven't
Yeah,
heard
I
that in a
mean,
long time.
and for different reasons, both films for different reasons,
Hmm.
and there are completely, as I said, there are sub-genres. One is like, let's say, um, alien slash, you know, modern days, but the second is like futuristic. Blade Runner
Sure.
is
Sure.
futuristic, but it touches more. I mean, both are touching.
They're
The
both dramas.
sorry,
They're both dramas. X
yeah,
Files and Blade, they're both dramas.
yeah,
They're both criminal investigative, you know, law enforcement. They're both law enforcement type themes.
yeah. And probably those two are actually are the most often I came in back after years. That shows the quality of the film, that
Mhm.
even 20 years later you come back to the film and you are so much excited like it was first time. I mean, Matrix was good as well, but
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
would mention those two.
yeah, yeah. I in particular really enjoyed the second version of Blade Runner, the 2049, I think it was.
Yeah,
I really liked that. I thought that, and this is just me speaking. I thought that was better than the original, or as good as the original, because it goes deeper and gives more. Goes deeper and gives more, and more from that universe, more from that world, which most folks don't know. But Blade Runner and Alien, I think Blade Runner and Alien are in the same universe. Same universe, same timeline. That's what I read this somewhere. Those androids are the androids that they sent to space. Like Bishop, technology and all that. Wayland Industries, Wayland, all the same stuff. So when Blade Runner, when you see that thing going through the city and they're talking about going through these off-world colonies, those are those Wayland people.
Well, no, I need to like come back to the question once more, because like there was a special film as well, Odyssey 2001,
Mm-hmm.
but that is for different reason. It's like very deep in meaning, film.
Right.
It's not only science fiction.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than that.
Which one? Which one?
Odyssey 2001, Kubrick.
Okay.
So that was like very impactful for me as well as a sci-fi film.
Well, how is it more than a sci-fi?
I mean, because it starts from like history film, because it's like the apes evolving and everything, and then
Mm-hmm.
there is like jumping to the modern times, or like future time, and there's jumping even to the future because of that the after the whole event and the last encounter with the god or whatever.
I think that was the alien, the extraterrestrial being that was on Earth and observed these pre-humans
Mhm.
and said, "We're going to wait until they evolve and they will come back." That's what I think that was.
Yeah. But it was about humanity,
Oh,
brought
absolutely. Oh,
the
absolutely.
beginning of
Absolutely. Matter of fact, I'm going to go watch Planet of the Apes today.
Oh,
I'm going
great.
to see, yeah. I'm going to see that, and I'm going to see Dune. I'm going to see a double feature today.
Excited.
Yeah, buddy. I got to catch up. So, all right. Well, anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I'm hoping that the film will be available for audience to watch.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we're gonna see like how it goes, because like as you mentioned, like there's a few festivals left,
Mhm.
and after this, hoping to be distributed, whether
Sure.
it's through the platform, like or through the like maybe some theater release also.
Sure. Well, did you how many festivals in the UK did you submit to?
In UK, I was like, I don't know, around five of festival.
It's not a whole lot.
No.
I
I
I
mean,
would.
like, I'm really hoping actually maybe quite well accepted. My previous films were in Asia, because like even my cinematographer, she mentioned like when we met, like shooting the first short films, long time ago. And she said that I've got a sort of style, like from Korea, South Korea. My films looks like. So I was,
Mhm.
so I need to like come back to the how. That's why I discovered South Korea
Yeah.
cinema, because like I knew nothing before. So all
Sure.
right, I need to see what they show, and that resonates to me. So I'm hoping like will be maybe well accepted in Asia as well. So
Yeah.
Japan, South Korea, maybe China as well.
Japan. Yep. I think you have an audience there. Definitely. I don't know about China, maybe. I'm not sure. But you definitely have an audience in Japan, I think, without a doubt. And you may have a bigger audience there than you think.
Yeah.
Um, South America, I would definitely send it to some of those festivals. Brazil, Colombia, they have many. Argentina, they have them. Um, Spain, because they're very artistic people there. Uh, I would recommend some of their festivals as well.
Yeah. I mean, I sent to quite a few, so let's hope, for
Okay.
good result.
Always submit early, as early as you
Yeah.
can. Yeah, because it's a long film, and because of that, you want it to be selected early on than
Yeah.
later. Yep. Well, listen, Jaroslaw, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much as well for your time and for selecting the film in your festival. Hopefully, to send the next, like film and screenplay for sure.
With the teddy bears.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again,
Thank you
and
very much.
thank you for making this film. It's good work, and we look forward to seeing future work from you as well. Keep us in the loop, and until next time.
Thank you very much.
Okay, stand by. Stand by.